Hi all. Today I'm going to show you the setup of the Sennheiser wireless system that you have access to in the equipment room. So first off, you'll have two devices that look very much the same. There are slight differences and you have to know what the differences are. One is a transmitter and one is a receiver. Now, which one is which? You need to know. The best way to find out is to look on the top. The device with the microphone input is the transmitter. The device with the AF out is the receiver. So we have transmitter and receiver. These two create the wireless pair that you'll be working with. So the first step to getting this done is to put batteries into both systems. And the way you do that is you grab the device, the front door pulls from the side and opens up and exposes the battery compartment. Notice the orientation of the batteries, very important. These take AA batteries. So insert your AA batteries. And then in order to power on the unit, there is the on-off button. And we'll talk about the set button here and the menu selector buttons here in a second. But let's go ahead and power this on. Press and hold, and your system should power up, ready to go. The low battery light turns red. If that blinks, that means you have a low battery. If it's solid red, you should have a good battery, and you also have a battery indicator, strength indicator in the LCD window. So let's do that to the transmitter as well. We're going to open up the case, noting the battery orientation. We're going to insert the batteries and power it on by pressing and holding the on-off button. And then they should power on. Again, low battery is solid, which means we have good batteries, and the indicator in the windows also shows that we have good batteries. So now, in order to get these organized, the number one thing that you need to do for getting this ready to go on set is to scan for open frequencies. And what that means is there's lots of radio frequency interference all over the place that can interfere with the performance of your wireless microphones. What you need to do is search the spectrum for that these are sensitive to for open and free frequencies that don't have other radios on that will interfere with what you're doing. And in order to do this, this is a very important step that you have to do at least twice a day during an all-day shoot, is get the receiver and have it listen and scan for open frequencies. So again, we have the transmitter and the receiver. And what we're going to do is go into the menu system on the receiver by selecting the on-off button, and then selecting the set button. And we're going to use these scrolling arrows to go to the easy setup menu. And you can see there's lots of different menus here as I scroll through. But what we're going to look for is the easy setup menu. And once we see the easy setup menu, we're going to select set. And then we're going to scan or scroll until we see the scan new list. And then we're going to press the set button. And what it's going to do is it's going to start scanning. and saying, every frequency that I can tune to, I'm going to tune to that frequency and listen to see if anybody is on. If somebody is already there and transmitting on that frequency, I'm going to ignore it. If I go onto a frequency that's open with no interference, I'm going to add it to my list. So what it's going to do is scan everything that it can listen to and look for those open frequencies. And again, I do this twice in an all-day shoot. I do it at the morning before I start and probably before lunch break ends. So things could change from the morning to the afternoon and so forth. Or it could even change while you're working, and you will know when you hear interference. So now it has finished its scan, and it's saying that I have a new list of open frequencies, and you will see that it says here currently Bank 5 has 8 free frequencies. I can go to Bank 6 has 1, Bank 7 has 2, Bank 8 has 2, 9 has 2, so forth and so on. And you can scroll through all the different banks and see how many free frequencies. In Bank 1, there are none. Bank 2, there's 1. The Bank 3, there's 1. So I'm looking for a bank with a lot of free open frequencies. And it looks like Bank 4 has a bunch of open frequencies. I'm going to press Set to select Bank 4. And it's going to come up and say, the first one in my list is Bank 4 frequency number 2, which equates to 537.700 megahertz. I'm going ahead and select that. So Bank 4 Bank 4 frequency number 2. And now that is set. And I can go back by pressing the on-off button to the main menu. And then what I'm going to do on the transmitter is I'm going to go through and press the set button get to the menus. And I'm going to go to the frequency preset by selecting the set button. And I'm going to look for Bank 4, channel number 2, and that is stored. And notice when I did that the green RF light came on, which means the receiver is receiving the signal from the transmitter. And notice that the frequency here on the transmitter is 537,700. Frequency here on the receiver is 537,700. That means they're on the same frequencies and now can talk to each other. That's how you set up the radio frequency for your Sennheiser wireless microphone system. So now that you have your frequency set up, it's time to connect the receiver to your recorder. And you do that with one of these cables. It has a male XLR on one end and the male 3.5 millimeter jack on the other. Now on the receiver, again, remember, receiver is the one with the AF out connector. And then we simply plug in the cable to the AF out, and notice that it has a screw lock on it. So always screw it down to make sure that it doesn't pull out during your production. And then this end plugs into the XLR port on your recorder. And once you have that set up, you're pretty much ready to go. Now that you have your receiver hooked up to your recorder, the transmitter, which is the device with the microphone input, plug the microphone into this. And again, most microphones that are compatible with this device will screw lock in. So you plug the microphone in, screw it in, and then you're ready to hide this on your talent. And once you start up your recorder and start monitoring the audio, you should hear the Talent's mic come through the receiver, the transmitter and receiver pair. Another capability that your kit has is to either plug a transmitter directly into a microphone, or plug your transmitter into a boom pole, so you can have a wireless boom setup. Instead of having a wired boom to the recorder, you can now have a wireless boom. And the process is exactly the same as the previous video, where we have a wireless receiver and a wireless transmitter. And again, we know that this is a receiver because it has the AF out connector on it. This is your receiver. And in order to get this going, again, the number one important rule of this receiver is make sure you scan for open frequencies. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and put batteries into this. Again, noting the orientation. I'm going to power it on by pressing and holding the power button or the on-off button. And once it comes in, once it starts up, I'm going to press set and then scroll through the menu until I find the Easy Setup menu. I'm going to select the Easy Setup menu and I'm going to scan New List. Now the receiver is scanning all its capable frequencies and seeing which ones are in use and which ones are open. And the open frequencies it will keep track of in its own list. While that's going on, let's see how to put the batteries into the transmitter. The batteries go into the transmitter by sliding open this door, let's see, with the arrow. So I just pull down and slide this open it up, and again, noting the orientation of the batteries, I place the batteries in the transmitter, close the door, and slide it back into place. Now all the control for the transmitter is here on the bottom. You have your on-off button, your set button, and your menu selector buttons right here, and your mute switch as well. So I'm going to go ahead and power this on. And you see it's now powered on, and we continue to wait for the transmitter, the receiver to finish scanning its list. And once it's scanned its list, it's showing me that bank 1 frequency, there are 20 frequencies in bank 1. I'm going to go ahead and press the set button to select bank 1. And it comes up and says channel number 2 in bank 1 is open and available, which is at 47500. I'm going to go ahead and select that. Notice it says 47500. And then on the transmitter, I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing. I'm going to go into the menu by pressing the set button. I'm going to scroll through the menu until I see frequency preset. I'm going to select the frequency preset. I'm going to go to bank 1, press set, and channel number 2, 47500. I'm going to select that. And now I'm on 47500 on my transmitter. I'm on 47500 on the receiver. And notice the RF light is green. The other thing that you need to do on this transmitter is to select phantom power for microphones that require phantom power. And that's found in the menus as well. So I'm going to go ahead and go into the menus and scroll. Until I see the advanced. I'm going to select advanced. And I'm going to scroll until I see phantom power 48 volts. I'm going to select that, and I'm going to make sure that it says active. If it says inactive, phantom power is turned off. I'm going to make sure it is selected as active. And now that is stored. And now this device is supplying phantom power via the XLR connector to your microphone that requires it. And again, I can plug this into a boom pole that is pre-wired. I can plug this directly into the back of a microphone to make it a wireless microphone. So you have lots of flexibility with this device. So again, making sure that you're on the right frequency and you have phantom power turned on the device for the microphones that require it. And you now have a wireless boom pole, have wireless boom pole capability. I hope this was helpful. And if you have any questions, just see us in class. We'll talk to you soon.